We've lived in Woodbridge 25 years. About 20-something years back, after returning from school holidays, imagine our surprise to find our back garden literally covered in water, over about 2 metres high. There were floating pots and objects along with ducks and birds enjoying themselves. And beneath our large flooded gums, the waters ebbed and flowed. To our daughter's delight, we got out the canoes and an old boat and paddled around. Many people don't realise before the railway embankments and the bridge, the entire area was once part of the floodplain of the mighty Helena River.
Historically, the meadows were used for livestock grazing for properties along Bushmead Road, and hence the numerous bridges across the river behind each block. Prior to clearing, they would have been wooded, predominantly flooded gums, Eucalyptus rudis, some of which still exist. Our property backs onto the Helena River, or did, until they built the railway in the 1960s, when they diverted the river to the south side of the embankment, but still an easy walk to the meadows. Often lush and green and flooded in winter, most of the earth is dry and straw-coloured, but the trees remain green and provide shade. We're spoilt in having such nature and bush so close to the city, and on my walks I've met many people who agree.
I was unwell and I took my dog Chloe down to the Helena River during summer, and she likes to put her head in the water and pull things out, and I could see that she had her head in really mucky, murky water and I couldn't get her out. Unfortunately, she got incredibly sick and she was in hospital for a week. She had bloody diarrhea. She just wouldn't eat, and I really thought I was going to lose her. It was really dreadful trying to take her from specialist to specialist for a whole week. But she did manage to revive, and once we worked out it's Giardia, they managed to give her the right antibiotics, and I can remember the day she started eating, and she's still with us today.
I was walking in the riverbed, gently, I hope. I was particularly interested in the river, this invisible river, the river that wasn't there in any wet way, but clearly marked its intentions on the ground.
You right there?
A lady yelled at me from some way off, and I waited while she made her way down, all friendly, saying, "Hi, I'm local, I live over there, I recently moved in."
Oh, I thought you were the homeless.
Weird phrasing. I do sometimes come across camps, people temporarily calling this place home. But isn't this public open space? I said.
That is,
she said, pointing to the meadow.
And this side of the water is mine.
But there's no water. I haven't seen her again, but marked this place as Lady Who Yells on my map.
Okay, everybody gather around here. Now, I'd just like to introduce you to a very special place that we have the privilege of living next to. This is our local community art gallery. We've discovered it on one of our walks. It's a fantastic place where the young graffiti artists can come and work in a safe space, keeping out of trouble. Some of the bits of art can stay for years, and some of the not-so-good ones will get vetted by the other artists and moved on. Yeah, we're just very privileged to have this space, and they feel comfortable to be able to work here and work in a safe space.
There was a feeling of dismay, even grief, when I discovered that the inkweed patch had been poisoned. Like, it felt personal. This had been the site's best inkweed bushes, and like the name says, these berries make the amazing crimson ink. They can be confused with pokeweed, and there's a biosecurity alert for pokeweed in WA. So now there's just this bunch of pink poison-painted stumps marking where the largest bushes were. There are 1 or 2 more inkweed bushes, but I'm not going to tell you where.
Yeah, so on one of the sunnier days here, probably the second time I visited here with everyone, I had my rucksack. It's dark black and grey, and I put it near the large wood pile, and I remember thinking, wow, this is like amazing, like habitat and shelter for all sorts of critters. And I didn't really think much more of it. And then a beautiful like skink was just sitting on top of my backpack, basking in the little bit of intermittent sun that had come. I just said hi, and we kept on doing all of our little exercises and stuff. It was time to go. I grabbed my bag. I didn't think very much of it. And, it's funny to recall it now. I think I felt something moving as I was driving, and it was on my arm just as I was about to pull into my house. So it's like a good 30-minute, 40-minute drive away. And I felt quite bad that I'd been part of displacing this skink. And I had a feeling like it was still with me, that I hadn't gotten it off. It was sort of dark outside, and seriously, 2 hours later, I was sat on the couch. It was like, I don't know, like late, and I felt this crawling along my arm and neck, and there was this skink. Like I knew it was so I had to go outside. I stripped off. Yeah, I think I was able to give it a better place to live. But yeah, we had some time together, me and that skink.